Okay, we're live on YouTube as well. So good morning, guys. Again, this is Dan with the Bullish Bears team. I'm going to be doing the live stream for you guys today. I'm going to walk through the charts starting a little bit earlier than usual today. Get a head start. Looks like pot stocks are the play of the day today. This is the one that I believe all eyes are going to be on. This is Cron, C-R-O-N. You guys remember this one from yesterday. We had a really nice morning breakout followed by just a huge continuation channel. Rising wedge finally broke down at the close. It looks like my pre-market data is, or after hours data is wrong the way it's shadowing here. Is it? No, it's not. I'm sorry. It looks like it broke down around 2 o'clock, pulled back, and gapped up so far this morning. And as you can see right here, we're getting a wave on Cron right now. Look for it to kind of trade sideways at this 815 level. This is a full 100% retracement on CRON. Oh, you can't see my screen? Okay. That is awesome. Let's see, Thinkorswim. Got it now? Okay. Awesome. So, let's take a look at the daily chart of Cron to get the big picture, guys. So Cron was in a massive, basically symmetrical triangle. You know, you could have said a little bit of a descending triangle as well, looking at these support levels around 541. A couple of daily waves right here. So this is, right now we're in a triple top, potential triple top scenario, but triple tops occasionally break out. It doesn't mean it's going to actually become a triple top. It might actually break out from this. You know, you have this big rounded bottom here, and to have pre-market levels touching this level already, you have to be cautious. You have to be really cautious that we're at this juncture right now. There's great potentiality for this to run all the way up to 968. If you guys see my chart here, I have some higher levels here today. I have a lot of space in between 815 and 968. However, I am going to take the liberty right now to draw just some daily angular trend line to kind of see where this cuts across. So, and you can see it right there at about 835. So I'm going to be watching that level right here for potential breakout. You know, and again, just draw your angular momentum. You've got angular momentum here for support, and you've got the top of your channel right here. And you can always extend this to the right, and you can delete these lines later if you need to, if your chart starts looking messy. You know, but we'll dot this one to kind of say, hey, we're not really sure if this is gonna bounce at this level. You can color this red. You know, you guys know your preference for how you guys do your charts, but you know, this is mine. I want to look at this top line to say, hey, is it gonna hit this and pull back? Is it gonna hit this level right here? That's the daily angular. So now we're good to go on Cron, right? We're ready for the open. Let's look at CGC. This one is also ripping pretty heavily. Okay. Pretty much same story on CGC, except yesterday it performed much better, closed at high a day, and you know, consolidated a little bit. But if you draw this trend line right here from yesterday, look at that. I mean, that's on a 1 minute chart, so this is very This is a very bullish move, and you can kind of figure out the top of the channel here. So CGC's in this kind of a channel. This is a very extended move. This would be day 3 of this breakout, which we should look for. We should really be thinking about 2 things happening. It's day 3. We could get a massive push and a quick pop to this 43, 44 level, and then maybe even just a massive amount of profit taking and a good short setup. Or it could slowly grind up to this level, but we want to be very cautious that if we hit some major resistance on a stock like this, that we're ready to take profit right away, and even take the short side. Let's see if we're above this right now. Yeah, we're above this trend line here, that daily trend line. So Cron and CGC are currently the best setups. ACBFF, somebody mentioned ACBFF. I'll take a look at that. Similar, I mean, these pot stocks all have similar breakout patterns, and you know, they're being bought up with all this news that Congress is going to leave it up to the states, I heard, to decide on legalization. So this is an inverse head and shoulders on let's see, inverse head and shoulders on ACBFF, and you can see right now it's, you know, breaking out this 618 level with a run to 705. So it's really going to come down to today, what setup do you guys like the best for pot stocks, and where's the volume at, and what's hitting the scanners. So, you know, looking at our choices, we also have TNXP, Tango Nancy X-Ray Peter, hitting this hourly resistance right here on the 200 SMA on the hourly. And let's see, this one kind of like pumped up really high and then pulled back. So the pattern right here, again, angular support, you know, here's one of those triangles where it, you know, was trading underneath this resistance line and kind of got out, and what you're seeing is a fan out now. So when you guys hear me talk about fannings, and I say fanning just because I like that term, because if you use a Gann fan or a Fibonacci fan, you can actually line up your angles depending on how you set up your angles. I have mine custom. You can see price will fan out, and then as it breaks these resistance zones, that it will run. So depending on how you have that set up, it'll look different, but I like to draw my own trend lines a lot, and you can see right here, this is current resistance, VWAP. Maybe more risk on something like this versus something with a little bit better of a daily chart pattern, right? I mean, look at this massive gap down, but it might be looking to fill the gap. But this does have, yeah, P, it should be Papa. I know I say Peter too. Got to be correct. Maybe a 50% retracement right here in play. That's this 235 line. So we got a lot of choices today, which is very nice. I'm very, very happy to see this this day come, and I'm hoping that we'll get some good long and possible short setups. Looks like the bullish setups are very good. The problem is that a lot of the action's happening pre-market, so, and there's plenty of volume pre-market to take these plays, and they're kind of approaching resistance. Like, there's room to run, but some of them are kind of like already made a big run today. So we're gonna have to really just kind of see what happens going into the open. Let's look at CVSI from yesterday. CVSI was in a massive down channel. You guys remember this from yesterday. It broke out, kind of like recovered a little bit, and it's still really trading at lows here around 411. It can go much lower today still. Looking at this pattern, this could drop all the way down to 279, 280, maybe bounce again. You might see this one restricted maybe, depending, or halt depending on how it moves. I'm surprised. I don't remember if this one halted yesterday or not. I don't recall it halting. So that's CVSI. Looking at some of the watch list stocks right now. You know, we got our watch list set up over here. You can see some really good bull patterns. You know, ascending triangles on CBDS, BLPH. Some of these are also cannabis stocks. So we've got a lot of bull patterns on our watch list today as well. You know, stocks closing at high a day. I mean, look at all these. Really look at these patterns. These setups are pretty great. Here's another one, APHQF, Faria. You can see right here, angular support. There's really no shortage of bull patterns. Goldman Sachs, this is a one of our swing trade picks. You can see some areas to enter and some profit zones on Goldman Sachs. Home Depot. Thank you, Creed. Home Depot's got a great chart set up. This is a swing trade pattern for you option lovers. This is very close to breaking out and testing some of these upper levels. Right here we got a nice, I say nice, but it's kind of sloppy inverse head and shoulders, but I really like sloppy inverse head and shoulders. I like them all, and you have to use your imagination a little bit. But head, shoulder, shoulder, resistance zone, resistance zone. Even though price is broken out a little bit, you want a strong breakout, and then you've got two different profit levels to look at for Home Depot. You really want to see it start trading in this box and then the next one. So that's swing trading. We look out a little bit further so you can see this Home Depot chart. You can see right here, there's angular support. Excuse me. This is overhead resistance. So you got this triangle right now where it's had a lot of buildup and pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4. This actually is the fourth test of this right angle. And a lot of times I look for on the fourth test potential breakouts. Doesn't mean it's going to, but it already looks like, I guess if you went right to the wicks, you got a little bit more room right here. But Home Depot's setting up for a good breakout. Nice volume trend. This is, again, this is a 4-hour chart, but I want you guys to look at these candlesticks, see these patterns. That's what we're all about. JNJ, perfect descending wedge, falling wedge rather, breakout. This trend reversal has been in play since before earnings. And you could see this is, you know, currently a little bit at the top of a channel right here. So a possible pullback coming, but this is another one we're watching for potential move. You got this really big, nice, let's see, that's resistance right here. So you've got this breakout zone here, and you got room to there. So nice up channel on this one. So that's really the watch list. That's kind of like what we're watching, and of course I'm always watching AMD. pretty much see this on my chart every day, because this stock, if nothing else is happening, then this stock is great for morning pullbacks, or short all day, or just a morning run followed by a pullback and another run. Yesterday was a perfect cup and handle breakout right in this zone. Let me go back over to this zone. You got this cup and handle pattern right here, pretty much textbook. You can really see it on a 1 minute, but a 5 minute shows up pretty well. And again, that's that pattern right here. You guys can see it, this cup and handle. Uh-oh, I moved too low. There we go. So, AMD is always great. It's got I think the ATR is around 70 cents. It fluctuates somewhere in that range, but you can get really good trades on that. You kind of got support right here. You got this big ascending triangle on AMD. So watch for a possible breakout or breakdown, maybe another morning pullback. I'm just going to read the chat. TNXP. If TNXP takes off, where do we jump out? Well, here are my trend lines on TNXP. You've got this upper level right here, which on the 5 minute chart these wicks touched, and you have this 155 geofib resistance, and you have, really, you could take profit anywhere along the top of this line, or 181, or it could break right through it. So you kind of got to take it as it goes. Take these as they come. But you can see right here, 155, 160, pretty hard resistance in this zone. You've got hourly angular support a lot lower. Go back to the 1 minute, all the way down at 130. So right now, it's breaking out of this level. I just drew that a few minutes ago, and it's getting above VWAP. So this is kind of turning into a bit of a cup and handle scenario. You see it? There's that rounded cup. There's the handle. Boom. Breaking out. So there's no shortage of good plays today, guys. This is kind of what we've been wishing for the last couple of weeks, really all of August. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of some of these plays today. And I'm sure there's a lot of eyes on these charts right now. I'm sure everybody's watching the same thing. So good setups. And we know our profit zones. We know our entries and exits on the bottom of these patterns that support. Let's take a look at looks like there's a lot of eyes on TNXP right now. Decent volume. I'm just looking at the scanner over here. I've got my, you guys can't see it, but off to my left, I've got my 43-inch monitor with trade ideas up. Share with you guys. If you guys are new and haven't seen that link yet on the live streaming page, go ahead and click that. Open that up and you'll see all the different scanners. Right now I'm really just watching the gap scanner, because that's really all that updates in the pre-market. Let's see. I'm gonna grab a trend spider chart. take a look at CGC, and I want to look at daily and weekly chart. So you can see this area that we've already broken out of on CGC. CGC is currently at 37.50. I'm sorry, 39.36. So we're well above this breakout area, which is kind of showing a little bit of a triple top breakout, which is nice. Really like to see that. Let's see, weekly Bollinger Bands are right up here. So this thing's really extended at this point. Let's look at CRON. And these charts will update. So CRON, again, we looked at this already. This looks like a weekly Bollinger Band. We got up around 795. CRON's currently at 837. So currently CRON is trading right up there. And if we turn on this, we can see we've got this conviction trend line here. We have this one around 894. So we'll be watching these trend lines today for which is great, because if you look on my chart of CRON, I don't really have anything other than the top of this channel to look for resistance, right? I've got 850s, 860s, 870s, but if you look on here, 858, 890, 860. So we do have some daily and weekly resistance to watch out for. So that's nice. We might not get, that kind of helps us stay humble and say, hey, we might not get this level. We might not break out of this channel because we've got daily resistance in this 850 zone. So use the trend spider chart to really make sure that you guys don't miss anything with your trend lines, right? Let's look at TNXP, because trend spider typically doesn't miss anything because it's just using pure math to find all of the different conviction trend lines, right? So if I turn them off, it'll clean the chart up a lot. Let's see, what's TNXP trading at right now? Right around 145. So we're right about here. We've got this daily trend line resistant at 152, 185. So pretty much lines up with my fibs, these trend lines today. But you can see right here, we've got some major room to run potentially on a daily and weekly time frame. Of course, if I turn on these trend lines, it's going to find a lot of other angular resistance, and a lot of these you kind of have to it's looking at every single one. You know, not every single one is going to be major. You know, a major trend line. It might be something minor. That's why you want to really go through, turn them all on, pick them, look at the angles, look at the major pattern. TNXP looks like it's pulling back a little bit to that angular support pre-market. Got 1 minute. I'm going to get the trend spider off. I hear you guys typing in the chat, but I haven't been reading it the last few minutes. I've been on my tangent. So we're looking at CRON, TNXP, CGC, and we got the rest of our watch list here. Futures are in a pretty big bull flag pattern right here, so ES is looking kind of bullish. Got the wind at our back, so let's make some good trades today, peeps. Sound good? All right, and we're off. So CGC pulled back. Cron's pulling back a little bit. TNXP getting some buying volume here at the bell. TNXP had a nice VWAP crossover. Pretty much right at the bell. So let's stick on this chart right now. You guys see right here, this fanned out again. These triangles love to keep fanning out. Really nice buying volume. Let's see if it gets supported. We want to close over VWAP and over this trend line. And then we've got a potential 5 to 10 cent run to 155. Looks like CGC is crossing back over VWAP briefly. Cron is popping. Here we go, Cron. Wow, massive volume. Look at that. 700,000. Almost 500. Top of this channel. So you can see this channel is going to act as resistance, guys. It's going to act as resistance. So it's tough. It's really tough to manage risk in here. You need, let this pattern form. The volume is great. But let's see what kind of pattern this forms. Right now it's really hard to manage an entry on this. I don't see an entry on TNXP yet. I don't see one on CGC. CGC might be setting up for a good short, actually. So let this shake out. Look at that high wave 1 minute candle on CRON. Let that shake out. I'm watching some other charts right now. It looks like CGC, the bulls are taking profit right now. So let's see, this could pull back. There's day 3. Day 3, got to be cautious. So 33.66 to 39.53. All right, so potential short target is 36.60. That's a really, if you can borrow shares, if this, wait for a bounce right here, because right now we're under all these moving averages, and you're going to see candlesticks bounce off of every one of these ladders, at least briefly. It might close through it, but right now we fell out of this big up channel, and we're currently like this. That's overhead resistance, so maybe this will come back up and test this line. So that's CGC. TNXP still kind of hanging in there. Cron is pulled back all the way to the bottom of the channel, possibly closing below it. I really want to see, at this point I want to see Cron form an inverse head and shoulder. I'm sorry, CGC either test this line and fail, or maybe form a inverse head and shoulder or cup and handle. But wait for this to either fail this trend line or break out of it and trade sideways. So CGC still has a good setup coming, guys. TNXP is like out, it fanned out. It actually lost that angular support a little bit. It's got one more underneath it that it caught a bit of a bounce around 140. So TNXP might be trying to build some steam. Cron, yeah, these actually look pretty, they look pretty decent. They're holding on to let the battle shake out, get some get some kind of a pattern coming in here. Now right here, I like this bullish engulfing candle. But right now we got the 9 EMA acting as resistance. We want to get back above that. Yep, TNXP breaking out. Watch for 155 resistance on TNXP. Let's see. We might have we definitely have resistance right here at 155. Let's see what the pattern is coming in on here. There's already a lot of profit taking right off that line. You can see it. So maybe this pulls back and retests the 9, which would be around 148. Thereabouts. Cron taking off a little bit here. Off at 815. Getting some buying volume. I want to see a close above 155 for this run to 180. If it breaks above 155, guys, that's a really good bullish signal, but obviously you want to work on your entries. Your entry should be as close to the 9 EMA as possible, even if you have to set a limit order, whatever you have to do to manage your risk, because the 9 EMA is how you manage risk in day trading. Really, the pattern, but getting the best entry and getting disciplined to say, hey, I'm going to let this doji down and come back and test this, and then my stop is below it. You guys see this right here, right now. This is potential high wave. So again, this triangle is kind of fanning out. We're going to get rid of this line. We're going to get rid of this line. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This line's gone. We've got support down here, but let's get rid of that for right now. So right now we're in this triangle. You guys can see that pretty clear now. All right, we're in this triangle right now. So that's the story. Let's go over to Cron. Let's see, 850s. Looks like 850s Cron. Yeah, see, TNXP couldn't close above. It couldn't close above 155, right? And you got a high wave. And then all these guys that bought down here in the 140s were hoping for a mega run, didn't get it. So what happens? The algos and the traders hit their hockeys and emotionally sell all the way back down support. And a bunch of people are waiting to buy the bottom of this trend line again. So, you know, they're going to try to catch that knife. And maybe this ends up, because this is just emotional selling. These are day traders, right? So if you're just waiting, you could buy this candle, and again, if this angular resistance holds and it gets back above the 9, you can continue. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. That's okay. CGC really getting some volume. Look at that nice bottom off that 38, broke that right angle. Bulls are coming in heavy. 39.53 resistance. So you'll see profit taking right here, right? Because that's the high of day. Right now, Cron and CGC are at resistance. I don't see a setup on TNXP right now. I do think you guys should be watching Cron and CGC. I see GVO is hitting the high a day scanner as well. This one's a nice former runner. Here's the daily chart set up. getting above the 20 EMA on the daily. Resistance up at 435. You really got to watch that 20 EMA daily around 360. See if it stays above that. There's your pullback. And that was the that's where people kind of hopped in. It broke this angular overhead resistance here. So let's add GVO. Let's go back to Cron, because I'm seeing this this bounce off this support. You got resistance right here. This is the breakout line. We're actually above the trend spider resistance lines right now on CRON, just barely. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. See if this pulls back to the 9. This could be flagging right here. We'll see how big of a flag this ends up being, but you can see right here, it's pulled back here, pulled back here. Wait for, this is where you would want to take an entry, potentially on the third or fourth candle for the flag pull out on CRON. Flag pull, 1, 2, 3, boom. Here we go. Want this candle to close outside of this to signal maybe a 2 or 3 rally. Yeah, futures are just ripping right now. This is going to be a bullish day today, guys. I like it. I like it a lot. So here we go. CRON. Nice big volume breakout right out of there. Oh, this is beautiful. This is really nice. Very nice. Lock in some profits in here. Sell half. Look at that, right off the 9. Take a little bit of profit off. Let the rest ride. I'm going to look at, where could we possibly be hitting resistance? We're just above it. Look at that big hourly candle. Nice kicker. A little bit of a high wave, that's okay. Bullish, bullish, bullish. CGC is doing the same thing. CGC is, except I know that CGC's got resistance around 40, which it already just shy of it, but it looks like it wants to push a little more. 40.15 on CGC. CGC and Cron are the plays right now. It looks like a couple from our watch list are starting to run as well. Wow, look at Goldman Sachs. Yeah, these are all watch list plays. JNJ has pulled back from that ascending triangle, and again, that was at the top of this channel, so this might be pulling back to here, but market is ripping. Home Depot's about to break out, or it is in the process of a breakout. Goldman Sachs is in the process of a breakout candle. These are really nice candles to see. But back over to CGC, you can see right here, what did I say, 40.15, it hit 40.19. Watch for some profit taking here. Cron is, let me delete this flag. This is really good stuff. You can see right here, here's angular on Cron. And you've also got this from these candles, right? There you go. So we're currently in this little bit of a triangle wedge, rising wedge. Get a little tight, maybe pull back to the 9 here. This actually could all just be, at this point you could really just say this is all kind of like one bigger flag as well. So there's kind of a flag inside of this wedge. Yeah, I see CVSI is catching a bounce. So Cron might be setting up for another buy here at the 9, off the 9 EMA. 864 to 860. Gotta watch. The volume has started to go back a little bit more, which the trend has been kind of on volume. So this might be pulling back a little bit further. Maybe to the top of this line around 857. Maybe even to the bottom of this flag or 20 EMA. So CGC still hanging out near the high of day. Cron's still hanging out, guys. This looks like this is just a potential dip buy on a flag. So it's just pot stocks galore today. See if this this trend line holds. We want to see the bottom of this hold. There we go. So right here, 20 EMA, next line of support. Want to see a volume trend continue this way, guys. Want to see this break out and move up in this direction. So let's see if some bulls come back in. I don't think this is done yet. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. So we got 3 minutes left on this candle. Potential, really got to watch 865. I wouldn't want to see Cron 5-minute candle close below 365. I'd like to see it close above. So might be pulling back a little bit more. Yep, and it is. So people are hitting their hotkeys here. Day traders. Day traders flushing. So day traders just flushed the toilet on this one back to the 50 SMA. Below VWAP, watch for maybe a hammer, some type of support here. We're pretty much right at major angular support for intraday. Cron pulled back as well. Yep. So this is approaching. If you haven't had a trade yet on Cron, this zone of 820s. 820s to 830s is where you'd be looking for a good candlestick setup, because this is a lot of profit taking right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on the 6th candle right now, profit taking. And this could be a small hammer, so we want to see this get engulfed. This little hammer right here, you want this hammer to get engulfed by a green candle and close above VWAP. Would be a really good sign for a reversal. We're right on that trend line at 834. CGC is already kind of pulled back already and made a hammer and moving a little bit better on that dip. CGC is actually a perfect flag. So Cron might need to really flesh out along this trend line a little bit better. But if you look at CGC is pretty much just a perfect It's in a perfect flag right now. This hammer, you want to see it get out of this though for continuation. There could be a lot of money. Let's talk about this really quick. So we just hit a pretty major level on futures here. 28.67. Somebody just said SPY. Let's see, what was the high there? 286.90? 286.70. Right? Wow, it's right there. Yeah, so SPY very bullish. There's a lot of money in the big boys right now. So Home Depot, Goldman Sachs, a lot of money in the big boy stocks right now. So you might see some profit taking on some of these pot stocks potentially, and opportunity for shorts if they don't hold these major support levels. Money might be shifting into some of the bigger stocks that have been held underneath resistance for quite a while. I think somebody raised their hand. Here we go. So CGC, let's see this break out of this flag right here. Close above the 9. That's a good buy signal. If you can get CGC on a 1-minute chart to get out of this flag and push out, but it needs to close above the 9 and outside of here. Outside of actually this, if you want to get really sharp with it. Awesome Maximus says bullish Harami on Quran. Yeah, possible right there on that candle. Again, this 835 level, you've got trend line plus moving average. Now really, trend line is really the main thing that I'm worried about, and obviously candlestick setup. We need the volume trends to continue in this direction, and we need to break basically 4 levels of resistance right here. And you want it to, do it with authority, with a nice flag out, a big flag pull coming. So I would wait on anything below, especially VWAP here and this trend line. Wait on Cron. CGC looks like a little better setup, but not much. These are still holding these support levels, but they're really, it seems like money has started to shift beyond CGC. Money is starting to shift. I mean, look at AMD. Let's just go through pretty much just everything. Twitter, Netflix, Amazon, they're all ripping. They're all riding the 9, so a lot of activity with day trading and day traders is going to be here. This is where money is shifting. So pot stocks are fine and dandy, but there'll be plenty of days to trade those. And with the way that you can see right down here, the futures chart is behaving, we're heading towards all-time highs again. So, it's taken us over 6 months to get back to these all-time highs, and it looks like they're setting up. So at this point, that indicates kind of what's happening with pot stocks right now. They ran real quick. It's 10 o'clock. What are all these patterns on the big boys? And the big boys have great daily candles, right? Amazon's pulled back to this support, and Amazon could be moving to 2,000 next. It's in this channel right here. This is my Fibonacci fan. It's in this channel, and it's at a major support, and it's getting volume, and the market's bullish. So You know, there's still plays on these pot stocks. There might be reversal plays and pullbacks. There could be short plays. But right now they look like better shorts than longs because these flags failed. This flag failed majorly on CGC. All right, and now we're at VWAP. Cron didn't hold this support. Now it's making up for a good short down to 784, maybe even 752, depending on, it's day 3 of these things and a lot of news happening. So what are people doing? They're selling the news. All right, there's been a lot of bag holders on these as well, and people who've been swing trading them. So they're going to take profit. So I was hoping that we'd get a little more continuation off of these to these levels, and we still may. This, you know, as futures pull back and the market, some of the bigger stocks pull back, this could start to run again. So you want to see what's happening in the overall market and go, okay, what's going on? I'm just going through kind of our watch list right now. They're all, the small caps are all pretty much doing the same thing. They're all pulling back, you know, and look at AMD. AMD pulled back to this angular support that I drew in the pre-market from here. Yesterday's low to the pre-market low, and then pops right out of that ascending triangle. And AMD can, this could be a pretty major breakout for it. Let's see, we got, yeah, we're above that. So we actually broke out of a bigger ascending triangle right now on volume. Flat top breakout. This could put AMD on the track. Potentially somewhere up in the zone. I did have major fibs on AMD, which show AMD in the next couple months moving up to these mid-20s. So maybe we're going to witness that now. So that's where money is right now, and that's something to think about. So this might start to flag here, maybe pull back. This could be wave 1 finishing, pulling back. Maybe we'll get a second wave on AMD today. Looks like TNXP flirting with VWAP. Somebody called it in the chat room. Cron is pulling back to the 200 SMA, 784. If this doesn't hold, you got 750 for potential pullback on Cron. This 200 SMA in 784 level could be a good support, but you can see kind of right here, this made a very narrow head and shoulders pattern and breaking down below 815, selling accelerated. So make sure you have these fib lines. I preferably, you know, have to have them for getting my entries and exits on either long or short. I don't know how people trade without them, other than just, you know, candlestick trading would work the same way, but at least it gives me a little bit more insight on what to expect. So we'll see if Cron starts popping a little bit here, if it's going to hold this 200 SMA or not. CGC is pretty much in the same position, but you've got some bearish crossovers happening here, and I still think money is still hanging around with the big boys like AMD. I mean, look at Home Depot. Home Depot is just ripping. This should run to 202 today after being held down in this kind of a position. So this looks like a really good play today, even if you wanted to day trade these or day trade options on these. Looks like Goldman Sachs might run into resistance today in that zone. Alright, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But CGC still pulled back, still below the 9 EMA. You want to see these get back above the 9. Hope this makes sense to you guys. You know, why runs like this don't continue when a lot of the money is shifting to the bigger stocks. So a lot of alerts and action going off on the mid and higher cap stocks. So let's see, how much volume was that? That's some decent volume on TNXP right now. Let's see, this trend line, let's get rid of this one. So TNXP is now currently in this triangle. So you still got 155 you got to watch out for. Looks like the futures room is cleaning up today. Rose and Whistle that. I'm just checking the other trade rooms today, and I'm seeing that they're profiting off this big move on ES. So that's great to see. Yes, I do have a video on the Fibonacci, so if you go to members only videos, you will see the video I have in the day trading section. Even though it could be used for any type of trading, there's a whole video on how to set up your chart to do exactly what I do, and I show you the different ways that I use the Fibonacci tool in that section. And it's got the word Fibonacci in the title, so it should pop out to you. Awesome. So TNXP still being held down by VWAP, possible cup and handle. Let's see, TNXP, CGC, Cron, still kind of bear flagging on a lot of these pot stocks. Alright, so it's funny watching, I'm watching Cron on one chart and futures and AMD on the other. You can see Cron going up, futures and AMD pulling back. Maybe an inverse head and shoulders forming. Maybe cup and handle on some of these pot stocks, but it looks like this 200 SMA is starting to find some support here. And TNXP crossing VWAP, yep. So it looks like we might be breaking out of that cup and handle pattern. kind of messy one. But there's room to run to 153 and then 155 on TNXP if you can get a good entry on it. I'm kind of liking Cron at the moment. I'm gonna leave this line on, remove this one. Another thing I look for after a big morning pullback, is you start looking for falling wedges, descending wedges. And you can see it right here, pretty clear. This one was in a descending wedge. It's kind of held the 200 SMA, kind of rounding. You got the 9 and 20 starting to flatten, curl up. You got 50 and VWAP up here. Let me get some of these trend lines out of the way. All right. So you can see right here, we were hoping for this to flag. It didn't. This resistance held pretty strong. Big old falling wedge. And now, right when the 920 starting to cross, getting set up to cross, you got that 815 to watch out for. So you might see maybe even a retest. A lot of times these falling wedges will pop out and then pull back again, test some resistance or support level in here, and then finally make their play for VWAP. That's very common. It's very common behavior for these stocks. But not every time. Every moment in the market is different. There's always going to be a unique number of market participants in any one stock at any one time. So that's why you take it one step at a time, one play at a time. For futures, I use ES. That's /ES in Thinkorswim. So you can watch futures pull back, and then you can watch these small cap pot stocks move up. So that's why in our videos, you guys will hear us say, pay attention to market direction. You know, these pot stocks happen to run with futures, but then, okay, now all these other major big stocks, popular stocks, started breaking out of their patterns. And then what happened? Cron pulled back. And now it's pulling back, and now you're seeing it respect 815. Hopefully this doesn't turn out to be a bear flag, and this breaks this 815 level. So that's really the signal I'd be looking right here, is for a nice volume pop. It's still early in the market right now. It's not we still got an hour left or so before 11, and we can make some good moves mid-morning on these. So we could be a good mid-morning move on this. So you can see right here, it's really not sure yet, but watch for an inverse head and shoulders. Like that, right? You can see it all in here, resistance, resistance, breaks, boom, test VWAP, and then this trend line, and then who knows where 3 ends up being. Maybe there's a trend line from here that cuts across that you're going to want to draw once it starts happening. So it looks like the right shoulder is possibly breaking right here. TNXP still in a nice little mini up channel here, kind of megaphone. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 See if it gets some volume off of this support, the 50 or 200. Selling volume was kind of light, so this looks like a good kind of area where bulls might want to enter for a pop to maybe 154. So here we go. Looks like this support is holding. Got some buyers coming in. I really would like to see this get out of this triangle. I don't, it's not a lot of risk reward. Good ratio here. You got, 10 cents of movement. Right now at this point, if you're buying here, you've got 155 to hold you back. 138 was really the right spot to enter on this and hold. But if you're buying at this level, you're trying to buy a breakout above, and it's kind of hard to manage your risk. So you really got to be tight and entering off the bottom of these trend lines to for a potential break of these zones, so that you can get the really big reward, which the really big reward would be up here, right? It would be somewhere up there. That would be phenomenal. LCI. So stay on TNXP, guys. That looks like a really good setup so far. LCI, I think you asked me about this one yesterday, and it's pretty much in the same scenario where eventually it's going to pop. Probably, well, I shouldn't say eventually. It looks like it might retest this lows again before eventually retracing, and obviously there's a lot of room, but you don't want to try to catch the knife here. You want to let there be some kind of a bullish signal, like on a daily chart. Maybe this is ends up being a bullish harami, or you get a green hammer, just something to give you a good indicator of a possible bounce on LCI. Looks like AMD is getting a bounce right here. That first wave pullback is done. Big old flag completed on AMD. Cron still flirting with 815, and TNXP is, what's TNXP doing? TNXP is still in this triangle. There it is. So let's see if this turns into a flag and a breakout. Nice, Seth. So these are all good setups. TNXP is the best setup right now that I'm watching, minus AMD. If you caught that bottom of that flag on AMD, that's looking pretty nice right now. Yeah, I know, that hanging man right here, right at that trend line. But let's see if we can get a close above it. Right now, high wave, confusion. Look for this candle to close. Close above it would be a really good sign. Alright, so it's a high wave. Watch out, this might retest. This might retest 149. Probably no buyers, Goliath. That looks like a super low volume stock. Here comes the retest. 147. Hanging man, high wave, engulfing, test to the 9. I mean, it would really, this still could be a flag, but it's a really messy flag if it is. Right? if it trades inside this, or you could even say this. At this point, I'll wait for this to pull back. You might miss your entry sometimes, but you're not going to get a bad one. I'd rather miss my entry than get a bad entry, if that makes sense. That's kind of a golden rule. So, watching Kron. Kron's still not there yet. I'm not sure, Goliath. You mean on LCI? Are you trying to short sell? You might have to just look at the level 2 and see where they're. Okay, cool. Oh. Excuse me, guys. That came on quick. I tried to get away from the mic. I don't want to wake up Bella Bear's kid. Thank you, Big Bear. So I am demonstrating everything I pretty much do, or have done for the most part, has been on the 1 minute chart. Is on the 1 minute chart, but I implore you to use a 1 and 5 minute chart for your day trading decisions. At the very least, use a 1 and 3 minute chart. Just to get a bigger picture of the patterns and candlestick patterns and moving averages for judging momentum. You know, right now you can see TNXP, this 5 minute candle, 3 minutes left on it. It's really respecting this right angle in this triangle, and until it breaks out of it, you won't see a run till 181. You just won't. You know, it's not going to happen until we clear this red. Okay. This big old red line right here. Until we get a candlestick close above it. And then also you've got, you know, the converging Fibonacci resistance as well. You won't see a breakout. Ah, that's good to hear, Bella Bear. My kids are home. You guys might hear them in the background today. So I have a really thick wall and door, but they're loud, so it's likely you'll hear them today. Gotta love summertime. So AMD still ripping. TNXP, no surprise, doesn't want to break this trend line yet. Kron doesn't want to get out above 815. High day scanner picking up some stuff. I really like the VWAP scanner a lot more lately, as long as it's associated with volume. Let's go through some of these. Volume, where's the volume at right now? This one's back at support. And even Goldman Sachs has light volume all of a sudden. Givo. Yep. Alright, so TNXP pulled back to that trend line. Let's see if it tries again to break it. Yeah, I don't even, I have a, I had a chart up of CVSI, but I took it off. You guys are talking about that. Let's see, CVSI. I really, even though CVSI is pretty bearish right here. I mean, it had a nice pop, but right now it's under this resistance. I really like the chart. It's a really good teaching tool, a demonstration of patterns of volume. These candles are like almost perfect the way they move. There's just so many methodical candles and orders on this one. So right now you're in this kind of wedge pattern on CVSI, and 50 SMA is going to be support. I don't really have a pivot from here. You can see I want to draw a line from here, but I need to see, you know, proof that this is actually going to be a pivot point, and then this could be an ascending triangle, right? So you guys can see that right there. Flat top, support area. Oh my gosh, my kids are so loud in the background. Can anybody hear them? Oh, my 3.5-year-old is so loud. Okay, that's great. That makes me feel better. Okay, somebody, all right. He's the kid could wake the dead. Cool. So CVSI, possible ascending triangle. Not really sure if this trend line is legit as a pivot point. Oh, nice. So many parents in our community that get this. Yep. Yep, it's putting a smile on my face hearing them in the background today. I have a sign on my door that says do not enter that I put on when I start live streaming. So my 8-year-old was questioning that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I would trying to be you know. They would just want to play with the microphone. They like grabbing the mic, talking into the mic. They like seeing themselves on camera. So if they see me doing it, they're going to want to like, yeah, I kind of do. I've got my fortification here. But if they see me doing it, they're going to want to do it. And then you guys are going to be like, what the heck am I paying for? You know, Bullish Bears, or it's like Bullish Bears daycare. So, thanks, guys. So let's see, CVSI, man, TNXP did not like that right angle. Yeah. They would entertain you guys, though. You guys would be laughing. Well, some of you would. Alright, so SNG. I'm looking for the volume right now. Everything is looking, I mean, even Cron failed. TNXP is failing. CGC is failing. The only thing that looks really bullish potentially is, well, it's really for starters, just AMD is in a pennant right now. I drew this channel earlier as a hypothetical, but AMD is looking pretty juicy right now. Ascending triangle and inverse head and shoulders. Really a convergence of bullish patterns on this, but hopefully they follow through. If it doesn't, it's going to pull back. So just because you got a couple of different bullish patterns, what I like to see, inverse head and shoulders and an ascending triangle and a pennant, but you can see right here it's starting to fail a little bit. Yeah, so Rye, the trader guy, makes a good point. You didn't actually enter in a bad spot. You entered in this zone, around 8:15, and it just didn't go your direction, right? It held that resistance. And you had support around 8 and resistance around 8:15. Uh-oh, one's trying to break in right now. You can hear the knocking. So, you know, that was kind of the trading range that was in. I would have waited for a break of 8:15 for an entry, but if you manage your risk the right way and say 8:06 is my stop, 8:15 is my entry, and your target would have to be at least 2 times better than that. So you'd be looking for, you know, 8:25, so a VWAP play. But again, you know, the pattern's not the best. It's bearish. You're going against the grain, kind of. Right here. Let's look at NOG. You can see right here, NOG has a flat top on it right now. Might be forming some kind of ascending triangle. I think Lucian has a setup video on that, Sandra, on our YouTube channel. If you want to take a look at how mine is, let's see. What I'll do is I can actually share, hang on a second, I'll just share my my setup with you guys right now. So I'll share my workspace. There, Sandra, that's for you. No, my fib tool is custom. I'm not using the default. I did a whole video, I roar, in the members only video section on Fibonacci. And yes, if you guys want the VWAP scanner that I created for, I added it in the last month or so to the Trade Idea screen share. Let me know. Just shoot me an email, and I'll send that off to you guys. You guys that are members. I don't have a link to the exact video, but if you go to members only videos, you'll see it in the day trade section. So right now, NOG, nice, really low volume, but nice overall pattern on NOG. It's got an ascending triangle, BILI. So this looks like a nice cup and handle breakout. And let's clear the chart. You guys can see this was a big textbook falling wedge, descending wedge breakout, and might be making a play for the 50 SMA around 1385 in a daily sense. I don't think it would necessarily do it today, but you've got earnings coming up in a couple of days, so maybe in the next day or two it gets up to that level. It's currently looking like that. Trading inside here, so if you want to get a buy on this, you'd want to buy it closer to this angular support. Awesomeness. No, I haven't. I've used TTM squeeze and some variations on it, but I'm not familiar with the scalper. Looks like KOS is getting some crazy volume all of a sudden, hitting the high of day. Well, crazy relative volume for itself. Let's see, this had earnings, huh? On the 16th. That is a big hourly candle for it. Let's look at the bigger chart. Wow. Gotta go back further. Wow, so it's breaking yearly highs right here. That's KOS. Yes. Breaking yearly, weekly highs. So actually what we could do is we can clear this. We'll draw my fib. About like that. So this is basically this highlighted blue line is a 50% retracement, which it's currently right at it. So that's very handy. I talk about it in the video, but 50% retracement is very good target on a lot of these larger time frames and shorter time frames, but you know, you could really see it play out really nicely on the weekly chart. It's attempted to get there a few times. That's why you're seeing all this volume and bullishness, because it's so close to it. Really nice weekly chart. Yeah, the volume sucks on KOSS. My bare feet. Did I? Oh yeah, yeah. Just send us an email if you guys are. Send us an email and I'll send out the VWAP scanner to you guys for our trade ideas. We take care of our members here, so you guys can have that scanner. If you guys have trade ideas for yourself, join our community. Send us an email. We'll send you the scans. Yeah, yeah. iRoar. That was my Thinkorswim. That was my Thinkorswim. My current setup. So you'll probably get my grid setup plus maybe my indicators. I'm not really sure what is going to share, but I was hoping that it would save some of my chart appearance, so Sandra wouldn't have issues with the zoom, but it looks like one of you guys helped her out with that. Let's see, where's the volume? Where is the volume at? Looks like AMD is kind of still forming maybe an ascending. CGC is still getting just shorted. Possible lows of the day would be 36.60 on CGC. I'd like to see it pull back. Oh yeah, good call. KOSS halted at 10:30. So let's just do a quick recap. So TNXP pulled all the way back to that angular support, right? That's why we always extend our trend lines to the right, and we're still inside that triangle. Cron still in a bearish channel, at the top of a bearish channel. CGC pulled back to this level, and whoops, let's get rid of the fib tool. Might be breaking out of a falling wedge here on CGC. So we might not pull back all the way to this 50% level. We might just get out of there. Right? We want to see the volume trend trending down. We want to see the volume trend going up. Let's see, CGC around 38. Looks like 38.50 is about where resistance is, right there in that 50 SMA. I want to look at this because this hit the high a day scanner, AGEN. Got a bunch of volume. Just a couple of really big volume candles on this one. Ooh, look at that chart. So again, descending. That's why we can't stress these patterns enough. Reversal patterns. Really big falling wedge. Possibly starting to break out of it. And this could be a trend reversal in the making on AGEN. It's not there yet, but it's getting closer, right? Yep, CGC still on the move. Next resistance is 38.80. You guys see it right there, 38.80. Looks like we might have a volume trend reversal as well. Watch that 50 SMA first though. So we got 38.50 to deal with. Then you got 38.80. This is kind of a nice narrow cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders. Lucian's actually on vacation, so Lucian's not here today. He's taking a little trip, not to Bali. No, had to throw that out there. No, we're not brothers. We're just good friends. We met at work years ago, working for the same company, and both got into training. Yeah, I know. People say that we. I know people get us confused a lot. So some people do. Dan, are you using the custom view app in Thinkorswim? Mine is different. That's all right, bare feet. Don't worry about it. No, I'm not. I'm not using custom. The only thing I've changed is the style, and you've got the upper and lower bands. I show the lower band, but not the upper. Looking for oversold. I kind of use the upper and lower bands as overbought, oversold levels. There you go. You could see CGC respecting that 50 SMA. Bali had an earthquake. Wow. Didn't know that. Well, good thing Lucian didn't go there. Luckily, he's safe. Hope all the people of Bali are well. Nobody got hurt. Earthquakes are no joke. Looks like Kron pulling back. It ran a little bit, but it's pulling back at that 805. Possible inverse head and shoulders, or maybe cup and handle in the process of forming on Kron. Looks like we're both Kron, CGC, both kind of running the same right now, pulling back a little bit. I would really like to see this. I'd really like to see this, and then this, and then this, and then break out, and then whew, right? That's what we want. So hopefully we print some candles in this zone. I feel like I'm drawing like I'm like a football coach. The way I draw these patterns. All right, you're gonna run a flag play here, and the center tackle is gonna go there. There you go. So, but yeah, that's the idea. Head and shoulders on that. That would be nice to see form out. Oh, is he? Yeah. Some people like to chase. Some people like to chase. Other people like to wait for, chase breakouts. You could chase momentum. You could wait for reversals. There's lots of different strategies. Some work better than others. Some work better than others at different times. So let's see, really like to see 38.28 kind of hold on CGC for this inverse head and shoulders pattern to kind of play out. Nice job, John. John trading Cron. Got a nice scalp. Let's see Cron. Let's take a look at that. I got a lot of lines on this chart right now. Let me clear this up. Oh. So the moving averages are starting to pinch in here. So this is an area where you look for price to react, either up or down. Would like to see it move up. Test this 815. It looks like CGC is completing a flag pattern here. So let's see if this breaks out. That 50 SMA is holding us down right now. My moving averages are the 9 EMA, the 20 EMA, the 50 SMA, the 200 SMA, and VWAP. I'm using those on all of my charts. Irina asks, how do I change the thickness of your resistance line? So any line that you draw on your Thinkorswim chart, you right click, edit properties, and you can choose your width 1 through 5 here and your style, and then save it as your default if you would like to, or just change that one particular line. It's up to you. There you go. Thanks, Stock. So flag, let's see if this holds. 3806. Let's see, this actually might be resistance. Boom. So it's possible we're in a bigger down channel right now on CGC. If this doesn't pop out of this, then this is showing us that this is really good resistance. Price is respecting this area. Trying to make that red. Where's red? There it is. Right? Right now, price is saying, hey, I can't break this trend line. All right, well, let's make sure it's on the chart now. And now we might pull back again and drift a lot lower. And maybe this is where that 50% retracement around 36.60 takes place. You know, but each one of these price levels on Fibonacci, you're going to see candlesticks react to it. So once you open a shared item, you can go to Studies, Load Study Set, and you should see my study set that I shared with you somewhere in this Load Study Set. Might be under, you know, shared item or something like that. So you'll have to take a look. Great to hear. Awesome, Maximus. We'll see you later. And can't really pronounce that other name, GW. GW, glad to have you guys with us today. You guys can see right now we got CGC still kind of holding this 3806. Let's go through the patterns real quick. Quick pattern breakdown. TNXP still at the bottom of the symmetrical triangle in a sloppy head and shoulders. A lot of downside risk at this trend line. Cron currently maybe putting together cup and handle. Maybe inverse head and shoulders. Let's see. From our swing trade watch list, Goldman Sachs still ripping. Home Depot consolidating a little bit here. Hit the high of day, drifting lower. JNNJ hit resistance in the channel today, pulling back. Givo hit the high of day. I'm kind of watching this, got one eye on this, but it's right now it's trapped under that right angle. Oh, and then of course we got AMD. AMD is still at VWAP. Looks like it hit that high of day. This might be drifting a little bit lower into the lunch hour, maybe run towards the end of the day. But AMD had a great morning pattern on it. You can trade AMD every single day of your life. You can capture you know, 25 cent to 50 cent move because it's just got great volume, a lot of great patterns that set up on it, and it really respects these trend lines, and it doesn't kind of pump and dump as hard as a lot of these true penny stocks that we trade. So for a beginner trader, what a great teacher AMD is. CGC attempting a breakout on that right angle that we drew. That's really nice to see that this is possibly breaking here. Three major tests of this. If this breaks out, that could be a really good sign for a VWAP play to 38.83. Mostly day trading, Raf. I'd like to do more swing trading or have maybe some multiple streams. I tried to cover swing trading a little bit today on the stocks that are on our watch list. But a lot of the patterns and moving averages and things that we teach with day trading really can be applied to swing trading if you just slow it down, right? The Fibonacci I use, the patterns, the moving averages, they all apply. They're all relevant to swing trading. It's just you're not making as quick a decision. With swing trading, you're really being patient and waiting for that daily and hourly setup and applying an entry with you know, a 5 minute chart. So CGC starting to get a pop here, breaking out of this right angle. Looking like a juicy setup to 38.88, 38.80 rather. And VWAP is pretty much right there too. All right, somebody just mentioned XXI. You can see had some news popped. This one's a really nice former runner. You guys can look at this. This one ripped all the way to 3. Let me clear this drawing set. Boom. Pretty much trapped in a big descending triangle. Lots of relative high volume on this, but let's see some of these buys. So you got like a little news break above that resistance. Right now it's still kind of trading inside this wedge. Want to see consistent volume and really form a nice channel to get a good trade on this. So I don't see anything on XXII right now. Right now just CGC is really moving pretty nice outside of that right angle right there. Welcome, Derek. Hey Robert, do you want to share that scanner setting with the group? That'd be fine. Raf, I would enter at the first candlestick close above the right angle and as close to the 9 EMA as possible on any break of a right angle after, you've got, 2 bullish patterns to look at. You've got the falling wedge, which broke out and then pulled back, but then to test that angle again and then break out, that's a very bullish signal. So you'd want to really enter right here on this candle at 38.39, and now you've got a pretty decent, entry. You're already up 15, 20, 30 cents. And your goal is to basically look to take profit at 38.80, VWAP, 200 SMA, somewhere in there. You could take some off, maybe let the rest ride, but this is a convergence of resistances you got to watch out for. So my stop would be any candlestick close below the 9 EMA, because this is a momentum play, and you really want to ride the 9 on a play like this on a 1 minute. So any candlestick close below the 9 EMA is going to be a stop out signal after a momentum breakout. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. We can do that. We're definitely going to focus more on different types of streams for you guys. We might even do multiple streams for swing trading and day trading, also futures. So we've got a lot of stuff planned, and it is tricky to hop back and forth between day and swing, especially for newer traders. So I get wanting to separate that. Who do you think would be a better voiceover for a trend? I don't know. I like both of those voices a lot. Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman. Man, that's tough. I think you can't lose with either. Morgan Freeman, I think, would relax me more, but Samuel L. Jackson might pump me up when he starts swearing. Yeah, once I hear the curse words. So I think I might go with Samuel L. Jackson just to get the curses to get me pumped up. Right? Relative volume. Great question. So whenever day trading, you like to see at least 2, 3, 4 times, at least double the relative volume, and that can mean daily as well. So if you look at our momentum high a day, scanner, you guys will see the the volume today. You'll see the volume on the 5-minute, and you'll see the relative volume scanner, and also the average 10-day volume, just to give you an idea of what the stock's doing and what the relative volume is. So it is good to take a look at that. The higher the relative volume, obviously the more interest, the more momentum, the better. So here you go on CGC. Let's see if this breaks this 3880, which is also VWAP is right there. Looks like CVSI is still in a consolidation pattern. Still trapped below 545 or so. Let's see, Cron. Same story with Cron, CGC. Really, CGC looks like it might be time to take profit here. Let's look at the 5-minute. You got to really watch this 3880. Maybe the 5 minutes forming a tweezer top. Obviously, it's still above the 9 here. But this is a big resistance zone, pretty much below 3880. Anything that bounces is just basically bouncing to that level and then pulling back. But you can see on a 5-minute how long price has really respected that line and reacted differently above it or below it. So I'd say, below 3880, very cautious with CGC. Above it, you'd be a little bit more bullish. Ten times normal relative volume. Yeah, that'd be very high. Someone asked about this. This one has no volume, and really the chart's just pretty much an FU pattern and in a consolidation between, hovering around the $1.50 level around the 200 SMA. So really nothing happening on this particular stock. And yeah, volume kind of calms down after 10:30. Price action calms down. You look for things to start settling down by 11 o'clock, unless we're in a, you've really nailed a high volume grinder that's just grinding up, which there hasn't been a lot of those lately. Everyone's been kind of complaining about the summer volume with small caps. A lot of the action is gap ups and pre-market or after hours action, followed by a lot of bull patterns that don't follow through. So, you got really quick runs and then long, pullbacks and another quick run. And so you're seeing that a lot with with the current market conditions, you know, and we're still flirting with all-time highs on futures. So hopefully in the next month we break all-time highs again. Futures, the major markets go and, you know, start running again, get in an uptrend, a solid uptrend, and then we'll start to see how the market behaves. Again, that even with earnings, it's just, I mean, basically with earnings coming up, there really isn't a trend. It's just waiting. It's in the waiting for news, what I would call the waiting for news phase, right? It's just hovering, rotating, oscillating around the 200 SMA on the daily chart around $1.45, $1.50, and you know, I mean, you could buy and just wait for earnings, and then it's either gonna, you know, pump or dump, basically. So there's really no trend. It's flat. It's just in the waiting for news phase between the 50 SMA and 200, and I would not buy this stock or recommend buying and holding any of these stocks that we're covering. These are all day trades, swing trades, not investments, not investment advice. Don't like to hold over earnings unless I am investing, and then I don't care because I believe in the company. Oh, there's 4 U's. I looked at the 3 U's. There's 4 of them. Oh, okay. It looked like you had typed 3 the first time. Well, in this particular one, it's a little bit better. Earnings is behind it, and it's in a ascending triangle pattern. So that looks a little bit better, and the trend is it's in a nice up channel, and it's currently in a, I guess it's not like a clean, it's actually more of a wedge. It's actually just kind of trapped in this triangle right now. So above that, this could just be a big consolidation wave, and then maybe this continues to move up to that $4 level. But I would say the overall trend on this one is up, but this is your support, right? And this is your resistance. Pretty clean chart. All right, I'll look at Facebook, and then I'm going to end the stream for the day. Facebook. This is, oh, hang on. Let me change the color of these. Let's change my chart to white real quick. There we go. Oh, you still can't see that too well. Alright, let's just remove this. So Facebook, here's a 5-year weekly chart. There's a ton of angular support going from, let's clear the whole chart. You go all the way back through here. Tons of weekly angular support all through this level, holding Facebook up right now. You had that weekly green hammer, inverted hammer, and it's still basically deciding off this 169, 170 level. I don't like the weekly bearish crossover here, but the last time that happened, it just pulled back to this trend line and then popped again, and then you got a bullish crossover on the weekly. But you know, looking at the daily, again, you could see more immediate support on Facebook right there. Possible maybe, you know, double bottom daily right through here. But I mean, right now this is kind of in a massive you know, the gap down, and it's still kind of bear flagging, right? You got that gap down, possible head, shoulder. I'd be very nervous about Facebook, holding Facebook long, if any one of these, this major trend line is broken. right? From 113. Basically, Facebook ran in a couple years $100 and is flirting with this major support level. So it's not over, it's not down and out, but that's something to consider. You know, and if the trend, if it bounces off this level and you get a daily crossover, like on a 920 crossover on the daily, and it starts trending above the 9, then you could maybe take a swing trade on Facebook. But right now, the trend is way too choppy and messy and uncertain at that level. Last but not least, BABA. I've got my Fibonacci fans all over the place on BABA. Right now, it's got the 20 EMA. Earnings are coming up. I'm going to get rid of this fan. And basically, on BABA, this blue dotted line, if the earnings reaction is poor, really bad, I would expect BABA to drop all the way down to like 149, 150. If it's good, I think it's got upside potential to the 201, 200 level. So really, along this yellow line here, it's kind of, this is the current kind of resistance that I'm looking at for BABA. But depending on how earnings reacts, this could go either way. Maybe the appropriate thing, if you wanted to make a play on this with earnings, would be to strangle it or condor. So lots of risk either way. I wouldn't try to gamble either way on this earnings. The appropriate thing would be to do some type of options spread or strangle and play the volatility. But you want to look at what the expected move is for an earnings reaction. You know, is it expected to run $5 up or down? Look at volatility. Implied volatility is very important with options. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys can take our free options course on our website. So you guys are all members, but I'm going to do a quick couple minute basically pitch, because this is going to go out on YouTube to everybody. Heard Lucian say this 1,000 times. You guys are watching this stream and you guys want to join us, you know, real time, live time, go to our website, subscribe, and these codes are all going away as of tomorrow. So everybody that's with us, watching us live, watching us on YouTube, is already joined. Thank you guys for being members. Really appreciate it. We've got the best members on the planet when it comes to trade rooms. You guys are great. Really nice people here. Got a great team. And a great price. Obviously, super cheap at $10 or $100 a year. You guys are all grandfathered in. You guys sign up before tomorrow, then you're going to get grandfathered in at this price. Otherwise, after, you're going to be paying $300 or $50 monthly. So, if you guys are watching this stream on YouTube after it's already, you know, been recorded, now's your chance to come in and do this before we raise the rates, less than 24 hours. So that's really all I got for today, guys. I'm going to come back a little bit, hopefully around power hour. Maybe we'll see some of these pot stocks start to pick up again, like CGC. Oh, it looks terrible with all these lines when it's light. Let's go back to black. Back in black. There we go. So we'll see what's happening with these consolidation patterns. Maybe we get a late day runner. Pretty typical with these pot stocks. Thank you guys for joining. Send me an email at bbteam@Bullish Bears. If you guys are a member, I can send you guys the Trade Ideas scanner settings. If you just want to watch for free our Trade Ideas scanner until you can buy your own, go to our live streaming page and you guys will find the link for that. Yeah, we still do, Raph. We still do watch list videos. See you, Big Bear. We just haven't done a lot lately because we've been super busy. So we're going to get back into the habit of doing watch list videos for you guys. I'll be doing them. Lucian will be doing them. We're also going to redo some courses and do some new videos for you guys on, trading strategies. So we're going to get rocking and rolling here in the next couple of months and do a lot of content, a lot of upgrades for the community. Bishop, no, there's no notification for the YouTube live stream because those are for members only. So you'll only find those on the live streaming page, the live streaming link, which is for members only. We might do in the future. We might do an occasional open it up to the general public with our YouTube lives, but for right now, we've just kind of closed them down, and you'll only see that on the live streaming page. So thank you guys for joining. Hopefully, this has been another educational, insightful, profitable day for you guys. Whether you're profiting, with growing your knowledge, so you guys can take advantage of these setups and plays, or if you guys are actually, trading off of, the stuff that we're showing you guys without, focusing on, what is Dan doing, what is Lucian doing. It really matters, everybody's responsible for their own trading actions and trading behavior. You want to be able to think for yourself as a trader. You don't want to follow. And we're really all about teaching you guys the setups, how to do this stuff so you guys can manage risk appropriately and be, profitable traders. So, and yes, we do a live stream every day, either myself or Lucian. Eventually, we might get David doing live streams in the future. Well, I'm glad you had a good day today, Sandra. We'll get you consistent, and you'll forget about the lost days, and more green days than red is the goal. So I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for another live stream, and then I think Lucian's going to be doing Thursday and Friday, and then we'll get into kind of a general schedule where you guys will know who's streaming on what day. Maybe we'll start posting that on the live streaming page. And again, we'll talk more about swing trading and futures and options. We'll get into it, whatever you guys want, we're going to talk about, and try to really cover all the bases. So we'll catch you guys later. Have a great day, and I'll be in the trade room and answering emails. Looks like I got a lot to answer today. So thank you guys.